Good morning from my she shed. I'm doing something a little different today. I had previously made this beautiful winter solstice quilt. Then I made a couple throw pillows. They're sewed around on 3 sides, part of the 4th side with a little opening. Into the opening, I already did one, I inserted a pillow form so I can close it up now. The funny part is these pillow forms come squished up. I ordered them off Amazon. I'll put a link below in the description. But they're a special size. They're 21 by 14, I think, is what I had ordered. Let's see what it says on here. 14 by 22, which fits my pillow. So I did one already, and instead of just popping open the plastic and letting it expand and stuffing it in there, I decided to see if it would work by putting it in still compressed. Now here's the strings, the threads that I save while I'm sewing. I leave extra long threads so I can use those to hand sew up the opening later. So here's my opening. Here's my pillow. Okay, so I squished it into a little tube. And I stuffed it in here. Let's see, this isn't going so well now that I'm trying to videotape myself. Okay, and then once, see, now it's in there. Now I have to lay it flat. So I did that. Okay, so now the compressed pillow is inside. Now I very carefully take a scissors, and I'm only going to cut the plastic, not the pillow. Pull it up. Whoosh. And now it's expanding. But the plastic's still in there. So how am I going to get the plastic out? Well, I kind of pulled it this far, very carefully cutting it without cutting my quilted pillow. I got my finger in between there. So if anything, I'm going to cut my finger. I'm going to reach in and grab another hunk. And just keep cutting this plastic bag in half. So there's one side. Now I'm going to flip it over. And here's the other side. Reach in and grab a bigger hunk. Now that the pillow is expanding, the plastic is a little looser. Again, I'm being very careful not to cut the pillow or my finger. And now I'm just going to reach in and kind of rip the rest of the plastic. There we go. Now I think I'm in 2 complete halves. I can pull it off the end of the pillow. There we go. Some might think it was easier just to let the pillow expand out here in the open space and stuff it in the opening. I suppose you could do it that way too. There we go. And the plastic is out and the pillow is expanded. So now I have these strings down here, and this afternoon during the Packer game, I will carefully sew it up. I always leave long tails from the sewing machine at both ends. That way, in case as I'm sewing, if this side breaks for whatever reason, I can come back from this side. So the openings will get sewn up by hand. The other thing I'm going to sew by hand during the Packer game is on this beautiful winter solstice quilt, which ironically, the pattern is called winter solstice, and I finished it on the winter solstice. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. And I'm going to call it my North to Alaska quilt because we're going to take it north to Alaska. On the back side, I'd like to put a label. And my neighbor Connie, from I Lived Out on the River, does embroidery on her machine. And she made me this beautiful label. I think I'm centered on the screen. It says, Completed Winter Solstice 2024 for Traveling North to Alaska by Karen in the Woods, Karen Funtner. Karen in the Woods has always been my fiber name. Whether I'm weaving, spinning, knitting, sewing, doesn't matter, that's my name. So I will take this beautiful label, fold under the edges perfectly, use my iron to press a nice flat edge all the way around, and then I'm going to stitch it down here on the back side of the quilt in this corner. And I'll stitch carefully around that also. So I have a little bit of needle sewing to do today, but that way the quilt will be ready in case we decide to go traveling later this month or early in February. We're not going to head up to Alaska till maybe May. That's our tentative plans. But in the meantime, we can finish this up and get it out in the motorhome on the bed. Maybe that will be my next segment. But in the meantime, I have to finish up the throw pillows and the label.